What's up and welcome to My Point of View. I am your fat and opinionated host, and you've probably heard about the Battle of Gettysburg. You've maybe read about D-Day in the history books. But we are in the middle of a historical battle right now as we speak, the Bud Light battle. And as prominent voices cry out and whine, please, please don't boycott Bud Light. They donate money to my political party. As you hear prominent voices online calling for an end to the boycott Bud Light, or the boycott Bud Light, the Bud Light boycott. As you hear these voices call for an end to the Bud Light boycott, the boycott has not ended. In fact, the boycott will carry on. I find it funny that all of these people were panicking. And it was really enlightening. Not necessarily for me, but for other people. Because for once you got to see that, both sides of the coin were scrambling. Because both sides of the coin were going to lose money in this boycott. Now, this isn't even what I would necessarily call your average boycott. I think this is just a culmination of a bunch of things and people finally just saying, hey, we are fed up. You know, it's easy to say everyone boycotted Bud Light because of the Dylan Mulvaney ad, which is true. But I think that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. A lot of you all may be unaware of this, but there has been a culture war raging on for years now in this country. And a lot of people have sat back and they've allowed all types of madness to take place. I think people are tired of propaganda being stuffed down their throats everywhere they turn. You can't watch TV, you can't watch the news, you can't read, you can't watch movies, you can't do anything without being smacked in the face by political propaganda or some other type of social propaganda that's trying to normalize things that you know aren't normal. And people were fed up. Now, these prominent voices that were speaking out, telling people, hey, stop the boycott, they don't understand the culture war fully. Or they're just not on the side that you really think they are. Now, I've told you that this Bud Light situation was very important from day one. Because I'm someone who has watched the culture war play out well before it made its way to beer. So I know how these things go. And I've been patiently waiting for people to finally grow a pair and to finally take a stand. And it looks like this is where people have had enough. Now, of course, these prominent voices tried to downplay this matter. They even make it into like a joking thing, like, oh, you're mad at beer, you're mad at beer cans. It runs way deeper than that. We all know, even the people who aren't upset at Bud Light, they know that this situation is way deeper than beer cans. But you know, they want you to think that you're fighting a senseless battle. And they want you to think that you're losing. They want you to think that you have no power here. But in reality, we hold the power. The people hold the power. And Bud Light is panicking. Bud Light is in self-destruct mode. If you think for 1 second that you aren't on the winning side of this battle, take a look at how Bud Light is reacting. They had to put out the new America ad campaign. They trotted out their CEO to give a little speech about how he likes the military and he was in the military once. And now they're starting to get rid of people. In fact, the very woke woman that was behind hiring Dylan Mulvaney has been put on a leave of absence, or in other words, she's been fired. But of course, they have to put it politely. And you know, the thing is, when you hire woke activists to help run your business, you put yourself in a very, very bad position. Because now that you want to let this woman go, who decided to bring Dylan Mulvaney on for this ad campaign, what's your reason going to be for firing her? And do you think for 1 second that she isn't going to weaponize the social justice warriors to come after Bud Light if you fire her for hiring a trans person to be on a beer can? No. So what's going to happen here is, it doesn't matter what Bud Light does at this point. They are going to be under fire from one side or the other. In reality, they're going to be under fire from both sides. And when you hire these woke activists, you put yourself in a bad position because you can never, ever get rid of them, because they will come up with some woke reason as to why you got rid of them, and then they will turn people against you. So that's what's going to happen here. Alyssa Heinerscheid, or however you pronounce her name, she's been let go. They say leave of absence, but she's been let go. Now I'm sure they're going to give her a hefty check as they part ways, hoping that it doesn't backfire on them too harshly, but it will. But let's go ahead and dive into this article real quick. The Bud Light senior marketing executive behind the controversial Dylan Mulvaney ad campaign has taken a leave of absence. Alyssa Heinerscheid, vice president of marketing for the popular beer, will be replaced by Budweiser global marketing VP Todd Allen. Heinerscheid has led the brand since June. It's unclear if her replacement will be permanent. Well, let me clear it up for you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be permanent. Do you really think they're going to let this woman back after what has happened? After she basically single-handedly tanked this company overnight? Listen, I know there's people out there that want to downplay this situation, but things are looking really ugly for Bud Light. Sales are down. They've already lost billions and billions of dollars. They're scrambling right now, trying to replace people, trying to fire people, trying to hire people, trying to put people on leaves of absences because they don't want to necessarily say, they don't want to come out and say, hey, this woke person that we hired for this role decided to do something stupid, so we're firing her. They don't want to say that, but that's the reality. So, if you think for 1 second that this isn't a big deal, then you're wrong. Because a statement has been made, finally a line has been drawn in the sand, and it's crazy to me that it took beer. It took beer. It seems to me that people were more upset about beer than they were the indoctrination of their own kids. It's like we got a bigger pushback for this beer campaign than we do Drag Queen Story Hour in the local libraries. But hey, like I said, if this is what it took, then so be it. But as I said earlier as well, I believe this was just the culmination of a bunch of things that just stacked up on top of each other. And if you ask me, I think we need to keep this momentum moving forward. Statements need to be made here that we don't need big corporations trying to take sides in the culture war, let alone we don't need big corporations trying to indoctrinate kids with certain belief systems and certain ways of life. If you're a beer company, you should be promoting beer. You shouldn't be promoting hormones and sex change operations to children. And that should not be controversial. That should be the most vanilla take in the world. But it's 2023. So what I just said will be viewed as radical by some. What do you mean beer companies shouldn't be promoting sex change hormones to 12-year-olds? You're a bigot. You're a bad person. That's where we're at. That's how crazy and loco this world has gotten. Mainly because the same people have remained silent. All until they came for your beer. Now let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and remember to always remain opinionated.